Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Orange Crushing It. My name is Frank Clark. I'm the CEO of the Mr. Orange and the Orange Crushing It movement. Happy start of our week. I'm excited today. Well, I'm always excited. I'm probably the most excitable guy I know. I look in the mirror and I go, man, you're excited. And maybe I'm excited because we're reaching like the half year mark of me doing podcasts, and that's pretty cool. I for everybody that's listened and kept in touch and offered feedback and subscribed and rated the show, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's been a fun 6 months doing this. And normally in the Orange Crushing It space, I'm always looking for guests that are high drive and are go-getters and have stories of like accomplishments, and it's all a lot of this very male energy, if you will. It's fun. We tap into the fun energy. And there are four energies. And I've recently learned this from a friend named Sean, who really educated me on this, where he said what we have is four energies, and they are goddess, which is feminine, Zeus, which is masculine, aspirational, which is that connected energy, and then fun energy. And a lot of times I'm very high Zeus energy and fun and all that stuff. But today I have a guest. Her name is Nancy Walters. And Nancy has always had a reverence for the sacred feminine, the female form, and the embodiment of it. She found her passion and true calling is in helping women find the light within themselves and to not look for the external for something to always be there. She's navigated through her own heartbreak and loss and come out the other side a whole new love of who she is. And by the way, I wish you guys could see this, and maybe we'll put her on a YouTube channel, because not only is she stunning internally and gorgeous, she is drop dead smoking on the outside too. Gorgeous, beautiful woman. Something about Nancy, or something within her, is she awoken. I butcher the English language. She awoke with a deep intuitive knowing, which brought her back to the truth of who she is. She's full of grace, beauty, and love, and she embodies the divine feminine. She recently launched a podcast called The Awakened Heart, which I highly recommend you listen to. It's really, really cool. Not just because I was a guest on it, but it was really, really cool. And she inspires those to wish to follow their calling and follow their heart and live an epically fulfilling life. Nancy Walters, welcome to Orange Crushing It. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Frank. That was such a wonderful introduction. I so appreciate it. And I don't know if you want to put this on video or not. I just woke up. I'm a later sleeper. So yeah, this is my morning, but it's fine. It's, we all have I believe in the natural beauty, and I woke up like this.
You woke up.
Maybe
We
she's
all wake up. We all, everybody wakes up like they wake up, right?
Yes.
And whatever natural beauty, goddess, whatever, fear, whatever we wake up in, right, is how are we conditioning our day, literally from the minute our eyes open and we hit the reality that we are no longer in dream state, no longer sleeping. What are we doing?
Yeah.
And you're an accomplished woman. Just to kind of get things going here, do you have any morning rituals that you do to like get you into that great feminine space, that great powerful taking charge, running your day kind of mentality?
Taking charge. That's masculine energy. I've got some of that in me too, because, right, we're an embodiment of both, but the feminine essence. So I love my sleep. I love my mornings so much. And I'm not like you crushing it at 5 in the morning or 4:30 in the morning, because that's the night before for me. So I love my beauty sleep. And then on an ideal day, today was great because I got up at a decent time, but like on the weekends, I love to sleep till like 9. And I just like to lay in bed. I will open my eyes and I luxuriate in, um, laying in the quiet, in the stillness. And I'm one that sleeps without clothes on. So feeling the sheets against my skin and my body, I just love that so much. So I'll open my eyes, and first thing I think is, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for another day. No matter what you believe in, whether it's a God that, of any of these religions, or if it's just the universe, or if it's an intelligence, or if it's whatever source, yourself. So giving thanks for opening my eyes, because a lot of people, aren't going to open their eyes that day. It's done for them. So that in itself is a blessing. So having gratitude for waking up another day, for like being able to see again, for my body, and just giving a lot of gratitude. And I have animals, so my cats, like, they'll come and they'll snuggle with me, and then I always picture, like, my heart. I pull light into my body, into the crown of my head, and let it go through my body, and I fill my heart up with a lot of love, gratitude, healing energy, and I send that out to the world. So that's one of the rituals that I do before I even like within the first 5 minutes of waking up. And it all begins with a lot of gratitude, and then it goes on from there. So then I'll get up and, on a good day, I'll meditate. I've kind of gotten off my meditation game lately, but I'm looking to return to that because, like the spiritual path, it's not a straight line. It's like, if you ever seen it, it's a squiggly line, like it's a
Mhm.
undulating, like you're on it and then you're not on it. And then it's always something you can come back to and return to, because when I meditate, I can literally take myself out of my body. I observe myself, I pull it, feel my body, root myself from the root chakra down, or your energy center, grounded into the earth, the crown, bringing in light into my body. And then I pull my consciousness outside of my body, where I'm actually observing myself from the outside. And then I'm everywhere, because as conscious energy, we are everywhere. We're not just in these physical forms. So that's one of the things that I do to connect to the collective consciousness. And then I get up and have my coffee.
Gotta have the coffee. Gotta
I
get
got
that.
my coffee right here. How do you
Get that
take yours,
caffeine.
Frank?
Well, lately I've been taking it with just honey because I'm
Oh,
trying to cut back on the cream and sugar part of it. So, and I've
right.
actually even gone to tea with honey. Yes, because
Yes.
I want to lose a few pounds and cut back a little bit on the caffeine.
Hmm.
But I do need a little jolt. If I'm doing this 4:30, 5:30 in the morning, going to the
Yeah.
gym, I need a you know, little
Yeah.
jump
Yeah.
start.
I actually cut back on the coffee too. I was just having it on the weekend, but this was a little left over because, like a lot of women, a lot of people in this country and in the world, I've got the COVID-5 to COVID-8 because the gyms have been closed, and working out with a mask just doesn't like do it for me. So yeah, I was just doing the tea, and then I was putting the collagen in the tea, and then putting a little like organic honey in it this morning because I'm crushing it with you. I had to have a little caffeine because I got to keep up with you, right, Frank?
No, you don't have to keep up with me, Nancy. Everybody just run at their own pace, and I'm sure they'll excel at whatever pace they want to be at, right?
That's
Everybody,
right.
as long as look, as far as what I'm concerned with and what I really care about is that people are moving forward. A one
Hmm.
degree shift every day, done every day, is massive,
Yeah.
right? It's
Hmm.
massive. Look, persistence, in my opinion, is what gets you what you want. Consistency is what gets you to keep what you have.
Mm.
So we can all brute force our way into something. We could brute force our way into losing 10, 20 pounds. We can brute force our way into making a lot of extra money, right? We'll take 3 jobs, we'll work around the clock, we'll do this, we'll do that. We could brute force our way into a relationship and force it. Okay, I'm going to go do this, right? So
Mhm.
persistency in anything will get you what you want. But really, it's consistency. So are you creating, in the persistent moments, are you creating habits that are optimal, that are within integrity, that are sustainable, that are fun, that are, they may not be fun right away at the early stages, right? When you're getting uncomfortable, to create better time blocking moments or better, habits in your life. But do you mold them into something that becomes like the fiber of your body? You look at
Mhm.
people that get up and run every day. And I used to do this in the morning. I hate running, by the way. So I get up in the morning when I lived in California. My sister runs marathons, and so she thought it would be cool to teach me how to run. And so, I wanted to do it. So I get up, and eventually, you're doing 5 miles, you're doing 8 miles, and you don't even think about the getting up part anymore. That was the hardest part. That was your friction early on. Now that becomes part of your day,
Mhm.
right? And that's the key part, because when things are arduous and they're difficult, all right, you put up a lot of friction, right? That's what gets in the way. A lot of that's mental more than anything else. But in order to get momentum, you have to move past the friction.
Mhm.
Once you get into the momentum, that's how you create abundance. That's how you create all the fun and magic and life and zest. But to think that it doesn't come without friction, okay, is delusional at some level, especially if you want what's on the other side of all your fear.
Mhm.
Right? So, yeah, I think that morning routines are a great part of an importance of setting tone, setting trends, setting habits, and especially because let's face it, at 4 o'clock in the morning, nobody else is up. There's nobody. There's nobody getting in your way. Oh, very few, right? There's no like, hey, you didn't do the dishes, or there's no like, hey, change the diapers on the kid. Hey, there's none of that. There's no customers calling you necessarily. Okay, it's just you. So it's your own self discipline. It's your own map. It's your own destiny. It's your own take charge kind of moment of the day. That's why I like getting up early because I own it. So one of the things, by the way, thank you for sharing initially. Your morning routines, and you started mentioning going to the gym and COVID and all this stuff. It is a difficult time now. We are in definitely a time in history, at least in our own personal histories, that at some level we're all equal, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we're all treated kind of the same way, whether you're living Section 8 housing or whether you're a billionaire. Still got to wear the mask, still got to follow whatever the social rules are that are set up around the situation. How are you managing to, you know, stay in your feminine energy, which is forgiving and loving, okay? When a lot of the stuff I know goes against the grain, especially for you. I know, without getting political, right? Without getting
Mm-hmm.
into all of that, just in general, our freedoms are taken away. And
Mm-hmm.
so, how do you balance that fun energy, that goddess energy, without just going? I tend to go straight to Zeus, like fuck this, this sucks, you know. But how do you
Well,
maintain that? How would you suggest, or how would you recommend to somebody you're really coaching somebody? How do you keep some balance here? This is a check of what's going on.
well, Frank, I had a lot of the Zeus energy in me these last couple months. And, initially I was all love and light. We're all unified. This is great. It's the reset. Great things are going to happen. And then I went down, without getting political, into the proverbial rabbit hole. I went down there and I came up and I wanted to warn the world. And I was just horrified at what I saw. And yeah, it really threw me. There was like 2 weeks that I literally woke up and I'm like, I don't want to be here anymore. If the world's going to be like this world is like so corrupt and it's scary and all this stuff. And then I had to pull myself up. And so I pulled myself back up. And, how do I take what I learned to raise the vibration and to support and elevate other people? So the first thing is having compassion with yourself, because there is so much going on right now. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of our freedoms are taken away, and that's one of the things with the divine feminine. I'm very much about freedom. And it seems like, with all these mandates and as they keep stretching on, our freedoms are taken away. So I push against that. So how do I stay in my feminine? One of the things, like I had mentioned earlier, one of the best things you can do, I always talk about slowing down, like just talking like this and slowing down takes you out of the mind, because we get so wrapped up in our minds. It's connecting back to your heart, like slowing down, breathing, taking time to meditate. One of the biggest things for me is to connect to nature. And luckily, where I live, I can walk out the door and be on a trail within 1 minute. So I get out on the path and I've got all the trees and the wonderful scents in the air. And I hear the birds and I hear the rustling of the leaves. I don't even listen to music initially, or I like to walk and listen to podcasts, but it's just connecting back to nature. And so that helps bring me back into the divine feminine. And because as a feminine, we are connected to the earth, we're connected to the trees, we're connected to nature. So l- that really connects me to back to myself. And another thing is being playful, like playful flow, grace. So like, you've probably seen Frank sometimes where I'm posting videos of me dancing. I'll put music on, I'll just like be skipping up the trails or dancing around. And the Instagram's got these great reels, and I've been having fun with that, and just, going out and dancing and putting them together. And dance is very big for the feminine. You just kind of move, like, even if you're stuck at home, quarantined, whatever, just put on something, a music, some kind of ballad or some, really groovy thing, and just start moving around, move over your hips and swirl around, connect back to your body, because that'll bring you right back to your feminine. As I'm saying that, I'm kind of swirling, my shoulders, and it brings you back into your body. So it's really slowing down and connecting more to yourself. And I find that really brings me back into my feminine, despite all the craziness that's going around in the world right now, because there's a lot of good in the world. There's a lot, and it's remembering that good, it will overcome evil and it will overcome all. So it's back to raising the vibration, connecting to love consciousness. And also, when with everything that's going on right now with the news and whatnot, it's observing it from a third person and not letting it trigger me so much, because it was really triggering me. So, and then I would get really triggered if I'd be outside walking and people, will turn away from me, or they'll pull up their mask and there's nobody around, and that used to trigger me. So now it's having compassion for them and looking at that from their own perspectives. They're believing what they need to believe to get through this themselves, and maybe they have a different comfort level through all this. So
Sure.
it's having compassion for other people as well too, because and noticing when I'm triggered and looking at that within myself and what is causing this, and just coming back to a place of compassion. I think that's a really good starting point for everything.
That's great. And one of the things you said, Nancy, and I don't know if listeners out there also felt this. I literally felt this when you said, when I get into this Zeus energy of frustration or whatever, I just slow down.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally felt like my heart rate literally dropping as you said that. Because now I'm in your space, right? I'm stepping into your frame of just, and not only did you slow down your cadence on the way you said, but you lowered your volume.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't so demonstrative in the way you said things. And just that little tip, I guarantee, I'm going to challenge people that are listening right now, okay? When you turn this off, the next conversation you have, just do it like Nancy did.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't help but just feel more relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a great, great tip. So, thank you for sharing that. And if we just can, if we just manage our anger or stress, right, by slowing down the way we respond to it. I'm always a believer of put a little time between stimulus and response, even if that's 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to respond to everything, even things that are great. You don't have to respond right away. You can sit, process it just for a second and go, okay, is the next thing that's going to come out of my mouth going to move this situation in the positive or the negative? If it's going to move it in the negative, don't say it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to say it. If it doesn't add the value, if it doesn't add value, then, as they say, stoofy, shut the fuck up. You don't have to say anything. And of course, you mentioned dancing and movement, right? Which is so critical on getting your endorphins going. Now, even if you look like Elaine from Seinfeld dancing, that's still okay, right?
Yeah, because
You don't look
you're
that way, by the
jarring,
way, but
and then you smooth. Then you can do the Elaine. Get out of
yeah,
here, and then just kind of slow the Elaine down, right?
I don't know. So I have to go full Elaine. I'm full in. Yeah,
That's fun too, because then you'll get yourself laughing, because you can't help but laugh when you do the Elaine.
exactly.
You're
Exactly.
gonna have to, like, if you use the video portion, you're gonna have to put that part of the clip in here. That was so funny.
That's me. Okay. Some people think I'm having a seizure while I'm dancing, but it's not. It's actually me busting out my best moves. So, so Nancy, again, you tap into this, type of energy. Was this something you always knew you had? I mean, did you grow up like a little girl and just were you always in the girl wearing the dresses, or were you grow up a tomboy? Did you like how did you go? How did you reach a certain point in your life? If you can, take me back to that point where you go. It's so important, ladies, that we embrace the feminine. Because let's face it, we were in a situation, and I've seen it. I lived through, the feminist movement, right, in the '70s, and then we see the Me Too organization now. We see a very strong feminine, right? We see very strong feminines out there, and to some degree, a podcast I did with Neil Conlon. We were talking about this, that women have had, there's so many multi-generations here of single motherhood where they've had to take on that male energy,
Mhm.
right? And their mother had to take on that energy, and their teacher had to take on that energy. So they're surrounded with a lot of this, and that's all they know. So, how do you coach women to, have that balance? Or because it's great to have male energy, but it's also great to tap into that female energy. How do you in a world right now that seems to be very aggressive, how do you help women in that space?
Well, I've always been a girly girl, going back to how if I've always been like this feminine girl. I've always been a girly girl. Like I loved the pink. My room had pink roses. My mom like made it look like a rose garden. The floor was green. Of course, this is like the 80s back then when they redid my room, or maybe the 70s, 80s. And my sister was the tomboy. And then as soon as she hit the teenage years, she started stealing my stuff because she became the girly girl too. So, oh God, there were a lot of battles in that household with that one. So yeah, I was always a girly girl. But then I was very shy. I was very quiet. And I was one that would always, I wanted to be liked. So I gave up a lot of myself to be liked. Um, I really, I guess I didn't really feel that confident in myself back then. So, a lot of my early adulthood, I would give up everything to make someone else happy because I thought that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to compromise yourself and make somebody else the most important person, or not even give my opinions because I wanted to be liked. And that led into relationships where, I would walk on eggshells because I'd be so afraid of them leaving. And look at me, I'm this good. Look at me, I'm such a great girlfriend. And aren't you so glad you have me? And okay, you can say that mean thing about me and I won't say anything back. And so I really gave up myself in relationships. And the last one was so hard. It really broke my heart. And I had to look at myself like, why do I keep um, bringing in these situations? Why do I keep attracting these types of men? What is myself that needs to be healed? And that led in the last couple of years to really tap into it stems with self-love, like self-love and honoring myself, because if I'm giving everything up for somebody else, I'm not loving myself thoroughly. I feel there's something lacking within myself, thinking somebody else can fill it, like there's something lacking. So um yeah, I had to like find a place of love for myself, and that's one of the things I would tell somebody. First of all, you were talking about I'm digressing a little, but you were talking about the Me Too movement and the feminism. Like all the women nowadays are out there because we're doing it all, especially now with COVID, right? Because the women, they're like wives, they're mothers, and now they're teachers.
Right.
Not only
Wearing a
are
lot
they
more
running,
hats.
yes, a lot more hats. And I'm seeing so many women so frazzled over this and in shock that now, not only one of my friends has a 2.5-year-old, she's teaching her 5-year-old, and her 2.5-year-old is really needy. And then she's like, oh, yeah, I've got, PE at 2 o'clock because I'm a physical ed teacher too now. Now, like in just shock over all this. So it's really hard for them to even find time for themselves to balance it all out. And um and then a lot of women have really high powered jobs too. So it's kind of the same thing that you have to find a moment, like you were talking about too. It's like, you know discipline yourself. The more you do it, becomes a habit. It's something you're going to really want to do and really crave doing. And it's slowing down, taking a moment for yourself, breathing. There's things that you can do to bring you back into your femininity, your feminine body. Little silly things like, I say, bubble baths can really always bring you in, or just physically touching, the steering wheel, or touching something soft, like something that's going to bring you back into your body. And a lot of people are like, I don't have time for that, but you can, kids, let your husband take care of them for like 10 minutes, even just going to the room and, taking time for yourself. So it's like just carving out some space, or moments for yourself to really connect back to yourself, your body, your essence, breathing, tapping back into your body, out of the
Well,
mind, into the body
right.
somehow.
It's time blocking to some degree, right? You actually have to schedule it and
Yeah,
say,
you do.
this is my time. This is
Self-care.
my 15 minutes. This is my date night, if you will, from a relationship. And you've got all the
Mm-hmm.
stress of kids and jobs and COVID, and you still have to time for your relationships, have time for your health. Okay, I'm gonna go work out. This is mom time, and in this time, obviously, with your kids. I'm always highly impressed, and I still think it's probably the most underrated job in the world is single motherhood.
Mm-hmm.
I am blown away with women that are wearing so many hats and still take on the role of single motherhood. To me, number one, most underrated job on the planet too.
Mm-hmm.
So all you single moms out there, props to you because
God
it's
bless you. Whoa.
yeah, God bless you all. Right. So Nancy, you have a podcast now, right? The Awakened Heart, um, and you are also just a very fun when it comes to. I've seen some of your live videos. I've been participated, and I've also been part of groups where you are very uh, openly expressive, very sexual, very and when you get into the whole dating and relationships, and now with COVID, we have obviously more constraints, right? We're doing more Zoom dating and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, how are you navigating through that, and what would you recommend to people that are single? Like I'm single, and you get on these dating sites, and oh my God, what a shit show that is. Okay. you know, I, I got to tell you, that's not the most. Well, that's not me. I mean, I'm old
Not
school.
me either.
I would rather you walk into a place, a restaurant, a seminar, whatever. You see somebody like you strike a conversation. Hey, I like what you're wearing. By the way, I just overheard what you said. It was very interesting. It's phenomenal. You have a great smile. You mind if I share a drink with you, a coffee? That to me is more real. That's more
Yes.
organic. That works versus, hey, I just swiped you. Uh,
Right.
let's
Right.
get
Yeah.
together.
Frank,
Right.
I'm right there with you. I've tried over the last couple of years because my last breakup was 6 years ago. And in that time, the swiping, Tinder became popular, Bumble became popular, swiping culture. And I've gone on a lot of dates over the years, on and off those apps, like swearing them off, deleting them, never going on them again. When I first was on it, I was giving it an effort because I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn about different people and went on a bunch of them. And, after a certain amount of time, you're tired of talking about, the same things over and over, introducing yourself, talking about, the small talk. Like I'd be clenching the bottom of my chair because I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So, it's a great way to connect people from all over the place. Um, People that you wouldn't maybe normally meet in your normal circumstances. But I find, unfortunately, that it's kind of throwaway because a lot of interest people are meeting on there, hands down, they're meeting, they're marrying. Like a lot of people are getting into relationships off of these apps. But I find it's a lot of throwaway because people might have a great date, but then they're still on there swiping, looking for the next best thing. And I found it's very hard for myself personally, to meet somebody that, you know, I want to spend time with on these apps. And it was different. Like years ago, you'd be on Match.com, and maybe after like you go on a meet six people, you're in a relationship because you meet someone great. So it's just not my medium. And I, like you, like meeting out in the world. And well, now I really asked to, I guess if you're at a table in between bites, you could be looking over at someone at another table. But it's definitely a lot more challenging, I think, right now to meet somebody because, um, especially here, like I see people walking. I don't walk outside. I'm just not going to walk with a mask outside in nature when I'm walking alone. And people like go across the street, or they'll like turn away like and pull like a mask up. I'm like, you're missing a really great interaction with a great woman. Like even looking at somebody in the eyes and smiling. I miss that. So it's so important to do that. Now you can see the cheeks raising and the eyes crinkling, so they're smiling. I love the interactions. So, right now but it's also good too because you can spend time on Zoom. Like say if you meet somebody out, um, you have a Zoom call like this, you
Right.
have a FaceTime, so you can really get to know somebody. So if you're not doing it on an app, maybe you're meeting someone out or you're introduced to someone, there's more time to get to know someone because you can't jump right into the physical. You can't jump into, that kind of thing right away. So it's also a good time to really get to know somebody and, almost like writing letters. Oh my gosh, that'd be fun again too. Remember when we used to write letters or really sweet emails? So it's like another thing where if you do meet someone, you can really slow it down, which is so great. Maybe go back to some of the old fashioned dating, really getting to know each other. So that's another great thing. It's also a really good time to work on yourself, get those projects that you might have been interested in doing, to do some creativity, just really have time for yourself. And then maybe when a great person comes along, then have the Zoom calls, slowing down, getting to know each other a little better. So so that's a lot of what for me personally, I've been going through COVID by myself. So I get to talk with people like you, catching up with people. I mean, we both launched podcasts during this time.
Right.
So like that's a great, I mean, I love yours too. So that's a really good thing to do. I mean, during COVID, I started working more than ever at another job. So now that's finally quieted down. So now I'm getting back into my other projects. But I think it could be a really great time to get to know somebody. And
Yeah.
and yeah.
But I mean, with the Zoom thing, I think it's, if there's any plus that's come out of this from the dating side, it's this, because this is no BS, right? I mean, other than what you're wearing below the waist, because you can't really hide, unless you force the other person to stand up. To, hey, I got to see what you got going on there, you know. Um,
Boom.
yeah, but boom, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a great medium, and I think it's it's
Hmm.
forced people to get to know them. Okay, you have to date different now, right? We have to. This is our going out to dinner. Can I buy you a glass of wine? Yeah, open your own bottle. I open mine. We have a glass of wine together. It doesn't cost us anything. We get to know each other. I get to communicate with you, and at least two, if not three, of the modalities are being enhanced. Right? I can see you, so it enhances my visual modality. I can hear you, right? So it touches on that one. And depending on how the conversation goes, and especially if you lower your voice like you do earlier,
Just lower your voice.
just lower your
Hi,
voice.
would you like another glass of wine? Red or pink or white or
That's,
whiskey?
oh, yeah, whiskey. Or just that, right? Now you tap, obviously, anybody who heard that and didn't feel something, okay, well, you're ice cold. Because that was like, that starts now getting into your kinesthetic side of you, right? So you're hitting three modalities here, which you don't get that on a text. You don't get that on even on a picture to swipe, right? And you're taking a chance, like, oh my God, I don't even know what this person sounds like necessarily. Did I have a phone call with them? I had a phone call with them, but does the pictures match? And there's so much deception
Mm,
and there's all this catfishing and there's risks, right? When you go in and do this. So I
right.
think this, at least the pandemic has caused and created a situation where, hey, we get a chance to meet each other.
Hmm.
Free, cheap, and safe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and our mutual friend Tina Gesso has a launched a dating site that's all video, Love and Sync. So that's another great app that's still they just launched it. More and more people are getting on, but it's video. You can't lie on video. Hi, here I am. There's none of those, you're the man, so you're probably getting duck selfies or like really,
Oh
I've
my
heard
gosh.
from your end. And then we as women get like, oh, here's my chest in the bathroom mirror and here I'm in front of the weights and here, oh God, like I've had some like, God, this is a picture like, oh, he's like looking over my dead body just killed me, like really scary.
Yeah, and you got, and the guys have pictures. Obviously, pictures with a fish for some reason
Yeah,
seem to,
that's
like
not going to work
fish.
for me. Put it
Well,
back.
fish have now replaced puppies and babies as like ways to pick up people. I think
Put
you
it
see
back.
more of that, right? It used to be like you go to the. I was a single dad, right? You go to the park with the baby and a puppy. I mean, whew, that was a
Yeah, it
surefire
would.
winner. But not
Yeah, for
anymore. I
sure.
guess you got to carry a fish around now. That seems to be women are doing it too. So
Fish. Yeah, men don't. I mean, I guess it's being honest with yourself. Like, I've seen him like looking like in camel gear and a gun, like, Are they hunters? Like, next. So, but I guess that, if you're going to want a woman that is okay with hunting, well, then you're being your honest self. But someone like me, I'm like, are you kidding me? There's a dead deer
All
there.
right. So you're consulting for all the guys listening out there, okay, that have Tinder or whatever, Bumble, whatever sites you have, okay, and you're out to attract women, all right.
Mhm.
Nancy, what are 5 like drop dead must pictures? If you only have 5 pictures
Oh,
that a guy can
okay.
have on a dating site, what are the 5 pictures?
Definitely, first off, a nice full front, your face, smile, smile in your photos, please. Smile in your photos. I want to see that. I want to see a nice smile. The second one would be, you know, what not to do. Definitely not all the glasses in every photo. I've seen like glasses in every photos, side angle photos. You can't see your face or too serious. Or one of the, I've seen the posing photos where they're trying to be like all coy and stuff. It doesn't work.
So no
Another one,
sunglasses. No sunglasses.
you can have sunglasses and one because we want to see your
Top 5.
I want to see your eyes, I want to see your smile. You can have one maybe where you're having sunglasses, maybe you're out somewhere, it's a cool photo. Something with outside, traveling, showing that you like to travel. Ones where you're not in a group of maybe 10 different people. I can tell a lot of what not to have. So don't have one with another girl because we don't know. That's your sister. We don't know. I've seen ones where they have a woman, they scribble out their face. Like, take the time. Like, if you don't have a lot of great photos, have a friend go and take some photos of yourself. Like, if they're all selfies, I'm afraid that you don't have any friends. I'm afraid that you don't,
Good point.
yeah, or they're all the same selfies. Um, if you're going to have a body photo, I want to see your body, but I don't want to see like, just like shorts and here's your, chest and your legs. Like, maybe you're out playing volleyball, or you went to Hawaii and, you've got your surfer shorts on and you're doing something. So just not a posing photo of just your body. It's just, you're in some kind of activity. Um, I've seen some I've seen some really crazy photos. So yeah, so definitely something with I don't really want to see every photo with children. But maybe that works with some women that do have kids and is looking with children. So, or a child with their face scribbled out, like take the time to either crop out the photo, or, if you're going to scribble their face out, just nix that one. So, maybe have something with your friends, but not too many of them, just showing that you do have friends. But I want to see you, just some nice, clean photos that are showing you, and maybe you're out there having some activity and yeah,
Dancing
stuff like
like
that.
Elaine, like my dancing like Elaine pictures. That'd be a winner for you.
That'd be fun, funny. Oh, that's another thing. Like some of these, somebody wearing a costume, or they're making these weird faces, or their tongues out. Like, how is that gonna, like, that's their first photo. How is that gonna, it's not gonna attract me. Are you trying to be funny? Because it's not funny. It's just like, I don't know. Or you're just drinking, beer and partying, and it
All
just
right.
doesn't do it. There's a lot of no-nos out there. So basically, smile. I want to see your smile. I want to see the light behind your eyes. And yeah, it's really attractive.
Okay. I note to self now. Okay. Take out all the bathroom selfies and
Oh
the
my gosh.
sunglass pictures and
Even
noted.
if you've got the best
Noted.
body, like there's somewhere it's like, wow, that is a nice body, but no. Or
Yes.
yeah, no, 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 no. I can't just, you're attractive, but nope. Sorry. Next.
Well, Nancy, I got to tell you, this is some great tips and also some great advice. And it's been a pleasure really getting to know, again, how to tap into the feminine energy. Because look, feminine energy, masculine energy, it's not just a guy has to have, because you're men, you have to have masculine energy. No, men need feminine energy as well. And
Mm-hmm.
they actually need all 4 energies in order to convey what they really want to talk about. You can connect better when you can connect to all 4 energies. Fun,
Mm-hmm.
aspirational, that male goddess, male Zeus and that female goddess type of
Yep.
energy. And you definitely embrace them all. You definitely are a great example of feminine energy and in your definitions of it and the way that you carry yourself. Other than the Awaken Heart podcast, which is great, and I suggest everyone just check it out, how can people get a hold of you? How can people work with you? How can people get to know you?
Well, they can. Of course, I've got an email, the Awaken Heart podcast. Can go to
Mm-hmm.
that, and that's at Gmail. There's also a Facebook group called Radiantly Divine, as well as you can see me on Facebook. It's Nancy Walters on Facebook is my regular Facebook page. Instagram is Radiantly Divine on Instagram. And I have a website. You can find it on radiantlydivine.com or the Awaken Heart podcast or the awakenheartcollective.com. That's the other way to find me.
All right. So there's tons of way to get a hold of you.
And I'm sure you'll put that in the show notes.
That'll be in the show notes as to how to get a hold of Nancy. And trust me, I've known Nancy for a couple of years now. Great friend, beautiful human being, and definitely somebody you want to know. Look, even if even if it's not something you want to, like you're not that, and I'm, again, this is orange energy, right? This is a different kind of show for me today. It's usually more aggressive and it's more male. And I'm really glad that we took the time to do this and understand how important the feminine energy is. And again, to have somebody that embodies that and embraces that in you, Nancy, is amazing. So reach out to her, get to know her. And
Thank you.
she's just a beautiful soul. And I'm glad you're on the planet. And I'm glad we're friends.
Me too.
So thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you. And if anyone is in Portland or in the Oregon area or knows anybody out here, I've only been here a year now, and I am still looking for my tribe. I would love to meet some more people, have some great friends in the area like Frank. If you know Frank, if you listen to Frank, then you're a friend of mine. So if anyone is in this area, I would love to hear from you, and maybe we could get together, have coffee, or go for one of the walks in these beautiful trails. So yeah, I'm looking for my tribe. So come on and join me.
Well, you're a great tribe leader, and again, thanks for being here today. You're beautiful. You're amazing. Stay inspiring. I love you.
Thank you. Love you too. Thanks, Frank.
Bye.
Bye.